How to complete the Hallowed Be Thy Name achievement during the Hallows End holiday in World of Warcraft. This achievement counts towards getting the Violet Proto-Drake mount from What a Long Strange Trip It's Been, and you'll also get the title The Hallowed. The event is located outside of Stormwind for the Alliance, and outside of the Undercity in the ruins of Lordaeron for the Horde. If you have any issues seeing it for the Horde, try talking to Zadormi to change back to the past version of Tirisfal Glades. And now, let's get into it. Starting off easy with the Trick or Treat achievement. Inside pretty much every inn during Hallows End, you can find a candy bucket that will give you a handful of treats. Simply click the bucket to get this easy achievement. This next achievement, Tricks and Treats of Azeroth, is pretty time consuming. You'll need to visit every candy bucket on this list in Eastern Kingdoms, Kalimdor, and Outland. I'll put links to waypoints for both Horde and Alliance in the description, along with maps to help you plan your route. Essentially, you'll be flying around collecting candy buckets for a while. Don't worry, you don't have to do this all at once if you don't want to, but it's a good idea to start knocking out a decent portion of them. Each candy bucket gives you a handful of treats. Open them for goodies. You'll need to save all your nerds, tricky treats, and toothpicks for other achievements, so hang on to them. The next achievement is Out With It. Now that you've been trick-or-treating for a while, you should have a decent amount of tricky treats. We need to eat enough of them to make us throw up. The amount it takes is random, but if you've got at least 10-ish tricky treats, you should be fine. Just spam click them and it should be enough to make you sick. This is another really easy one, that sparkling smile. You should hopefully have gotten some toothpicks by now too. If not, you can buy them from the candy and toy vendor for just 2 tricky treats. Then simply use it to get this achievement. The next achievement is Don't Lose Your Head Man. Open your dungeon finder and queue for the Headless Horseman one. It might take a few minutes for the queue to pop, so now's a good time to keep working on the Tricks and Treats of Azeroth if you haven't finished it yet. The boss fight is very easy and just takes a few minutes, and make sure to open your loot-filled pumpkin for some goodies and a chance at the Headless Horseman mount. By the way, you can kill the Headless Horseman once per day per character to get your loot-filled pumpkin, and I'd recommend to do it on as many characters as you can because there's some items you can get you'll want for some of the other achievements. The next achievement is GNERD Rage. To complete this, you need 10 honorable kills with the nerd buff active. You should have some nerd candies in your bag. Queue up for a random battleground. Epic ones are best since there are more players. And don't worry if you're not great at PvP, your group will handle most of the heavy lifting. Before the battle starts, use your nerd candy to get the buff. The buff lasts 5 minutes, so reapply if it runs out or if you die. Then just attack the opposite faction. I got mine in less than like 30 seconds once the battle really started. This next achievement, the Savior of Hallows End, can be a little bit complicated sometimes. To earn this achievement, you need to help put out fires during the Headless Horseman's attack in specific towns. For Horde, the event happens in Razor Hill, Falconwing Square, and Brill. For Alliance, it's in Goldshire, Keranos, and Azure Watch. In these towns, there will be an NPC that offers the quest Stop the Fires, so make sure to pick that up before you get started. You'll need a group effort for this one as there's too many fires to handle solo. Luckily, you don't need to actually form a group, just being around other players helps. Once you're in the town, just wait for the Headless Horseman to attack, which happens about every 15 minutes. During the event, you'll need to keep clicking the water bucket, then target the fires and throw the bucket at them. Also, as a tip, if you're having a hard time completing this because there's not enough people, Falconwing Square is easiest for the Horde since there's less fires, and Azure Watch for the Alliance is a cakewalk. There's literally one hut that catches fire, and with just 2 people, we did it in less than like 3 minutes. The next achievement is Check Your Head. From killing the Headless Horseman, you should have some weighted jack-o'-lanterns, but if you need more, you can buy them on the auction house. For this achievement, you need to throw them onto the heads of each race on this list. I'd recommend starting an Orgrimmar or Stormwind to find as many races from your faction as you can. Then, to get the opposite faction's races, head to a neutral city like Dalaran, Oribos, or Dornogal. It might take you a while to find them all, but just keep your eye out and I'm sure you'll get it done in no time. The next achievement is Rotten Hollow. Outside of Stormwind for the Alliance and in the Ruins of Undercity for the Horde, there will be some NPCs offering 4 daily quests. You'll want to pick all these up and they're pretty easy to do. First, use the bonfire nearby to light the Wickerman and use the ashes on the ground. Then head inside your own city to clean up stink bombs using the Arcane Cleanser quest item. Next, speak to the NPC to travel to the opposing faction city to drop 25 stink bombs. Once you've dropped all your bombs, go ahead and log out and then wait a few seconds to log back in. This way, you're already right nearby to the Undercity to do the final quest of dousing the opposing city's Wickerman. Once you've completed and turned in all 4 daily quests, you'll earn the achievement. The next achievement is Sinister Calling. For this one, you'll need to collect both the Sinister Squashling Pet and the Hollowed Helm. It's a bit luck-based, but there are a few ways to get them. First, they can drop from the loot-filled pumpkin after defeating the Headless Horseman once a day per character. Second, you might find them in loot-filled candy from the candy buckets scattered around Azeroth. And finally, if luck isn't on your side, you can buy the Hollowed Helm from the candy and toy vendor and the Sinister Squashling from the pet vendor. It's best to save this achievement for last and just run Headless Horseman and loot candy buckets so you can hopefully get it without wasting your tricky treats. And keep in mind, I'm pretty sure buying the Sinister Squashling pet off the auction house doesn't count for the achievement. And we are now on the last achievement, the Masquerade. For this one, you'll need to be transformed by each of the different Hallows End wands, such as Bat, Ghost, Wisp, and so on. You may have picked up some wands yourself from candy buckets, but the tricky part is you can't target yourself with the wands. You'll need someone else to use their wands on you, and you also have to be in a party. If you have a friend or a guildie to group up with, that's ideal. Otherwise, check the group finder for custom groups specifically doing this. Alternatively, ask in trade chat or any players nearby. Most players will be willing to help, especially if you're offering to use your wands on them in return. If you want to help other people and don't have enough wands or are missing certain ones, you can buy them from the wand vendor for some tricky treats. And that is everything for the Hallowed Be Thy Name achievement during Hallows End in World of Warcraft. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you guys for the next holiday, Winter Veil, to do the Merrymaker achievement.